Subtools. Okay, so let's go over the 101 of subtools and how they work now. What I'm going to do is make some subtools, and I'm going to go in here and make some poly meshes. So I'm just going to randomly click in here, make some poly meshes. I'm going to make 4 of them just for demonstration. So then I'm going to take the subtool palette and append them all in the same place. So you can see the ones that say PM are the poly meshes. And I'm missing one more. Which one am I missing? The star. There we go. Good eclectic mix of subtool goodness. Alright, so let's talk about manageability. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is rename these. So I'm going to rename them 1-1, enter. Rename 2-2, enter. And this one I'm going to rename A1 and rename A2. There we go. I did this for demonstration. So what I'm going to do now is click and drag it out, and you're going to see it's just a big mess, right? The box overtakes everything. Well, pay attention to over here. Okay. If I hit list all, this thing pops up. Notice there's an A. Okay. Notice that there was only one A character, and when I'm on the numbers, now there is 2. Notice it's awkward to go over here and click on this thing. So there is N on the keyboard that brings it up naturally. What's really nice about this is if I go N on the keyboard and type in 1 on the keyboard, I switch over to 1. N2 allows me to switch over that. But the buck stops here. Let's try N A2. Is that not cool? So as long as if you're smart about renaming things, you can really hop between things very quickly, just without even leaving the screen. That's neat. Now, another thing that's changed. Everything's on top of each other, and I don't even know what's inside the box. But if I go and transform, I can hit expose, and everything floats out, and I can see all the tools. Depending on how big they are, they'll float not only in the Z-axis, but in the X-axis also. Notice there is also a nifty slider that you can give an amount for. When you got like 44 subtools, you can click this button. Trust me, it probably looks pretty neat. Another thing is solo mode. Okay, solo mode's like this. If I click on a layer, only that one object's going to show up. So N1, N-A-2. There we go. Very quickly jumping between these. Now, it gets better, because solo mode is pretty sweet. But if you go under preferences, you can go allow click solo mode. Okay? So let's say I was in the arrow and I click anywhere out here. It only shows that one, and I can work on it. And then I can go A2 or no, N A2. If I click anywhere, everything will appear. If I click somewhere else, only the one object appears. This is great if you have subtools inside subtools, or just on the verge of being inside a subtool. In case you're really new to this, let me go over this. Merge all, or merge visible, will merge all these into one big mess and put them as a new tool. Okay, if I go switching between here and say, instead of merge all, I go merge down, it will allow me to stay within the tool. I would say this is the optimal choice of it, because if you are dealing with a very large model, merge visible will produce a very large model's duplicate. You don't want that. And again, in case you're really new to this, if I turn on polyframe, you notice that this is a color. Well, each object, since I grouped them in here, it's basically a group of objects. They're just on top of each other. In layman's terms, they're combined if you're used to Maya. And if I want to split them up, they share their components right now. They share all the vertices and faces. So I need to go into polygroups and hit auto group, and then I can go in here and say group split, and that'll break them up back into their subtools. So that is some of the new features, besides the ones that I already covered, in the subtool palette. Well, I hope that helps you out. Let's go on to the next palette maybe, and we'll go on from there.